Welcome to Idaho Fishing Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fishing Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
And welcome back to Idaho Fishing Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. Just a few stories to cover this week, but before we do, I have some important, hopefully exciting news for you folks. If you've enjoyed the interviews we've put out thus far, I think close to 20 by now, and you're still hungry for more podcasts about all things hunting, fishing, and conservation in Idaho, then I'm happy to announce we'll be rolling out a brand new podcast from the Idaho Fishing Game podcast umbrella. Premiering July 9th, Shooting the Bull will be our new platform for long-form discussions with the men and women of this agency, from fish squeezers to deer muggers and everyone in between. We've had a lot of fun hosting these over the past year and have heard from a number of you that they continue to be your favorite types of listening experiences from Idaho Fishing Game. And I gotta say, that means a heck of a lot. We knew we were hucking yet another night crawler into an already overcrowded podcast pond, but you made taking that chance worth it. So thank you so much. For now, Shooting the Bull will air on the first Wednesday of every month, meaning you only get one a month. Maybe down the road we'll change that, but for now, I'm afraid that's all we got time for. But you can help us out. You tell us what interests you, what you would like to learn more about. In case you didn't know this, Idaho is the coolest state in the union, and we have over 500 amazing humans working at this agency who are passionate about everything from bumblebees to bobcats to bull trout. You want us to corral someone to shoot the bull with and learn something near and mule deer to you, then let us know. podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Now, on to this week's news. We got spearfishing rules going into effect July 1st. Sage-grouse hunting season proposals open now for public comment, and a cool story from one of our fisheries biologists after spending some time in the mountains studying salmon. But first, if you've ever landed the biggest fish of your life and been like, well, now what? Here's how to submit your big catch into the record books. Take the common phrase for optimism, plenty of fish in the seas. Apply it to lakes, to reservoirs, to streams, and creeks, and lo and behold, you get Idaho. There are indeed plenty of fish swimming around Idaho, and hot on their tail fins, a contingent of diehard anglers, especially this time of year. Some of those anglers are on a mission to land the biggest fish and maybe even get their names in the Idaho Fishing Game record books. Others are just blessed by lady luck. If you're either of those anglers, now this story is for you. There are few experiences as thrilling as hauling up a gigantic gilled monster from the watery depths, and the arenas are all around us. We got lakes, reservoirs, rivers, even community ponds. Idaho is known for producing big fish, and Fishing Game's record fish record books provide an up-to-date account where anglers can submit a potential record catch and see where their predecessors have hauled up some scale-tipping lunkers in the past. Idaho's fishing records are broken down into two categories, catch and release and certified weight. As you probably could have guessed, catch and release records are taken and the fish is released back to where it came from. Certified weight records are scored the traditional way on a certified weight scale. That said, there are a few important ground rules that go along with each program. Only fish caught in publicly accessible waters with legal fishing methods during an open season are eligible for state records. All applicants must have a valid Idaho fishing license at the time the fish was caught. No records will be awarded for fish caught during salvage seasons or at private pay-to-fish facilities, and no records will be awarded for fish caught with nets or traps. Now, to apply for a catch and release record, all applicants must submit a complete record fish application form with accompanying photographs. This form can be completed online or downloaded from our website. For starters, fish must be released alive. You can see tips on safely releasing fish in our fishing rules booklets. Steelhead or ocean-run salmon, bull trout, and white sturgeon submitted for records must be measured and photographed in the water. Catch and release records are based only on the total length, so snout to tip of tail for fish released alive. Fish must be photographed directly next to a ruler or tape or an object of known verifiable length. New catch and release white sturgeon records must be broken by a minimum of 2 inches. Catch and release records for all other species must be broken by a minimum of a 1/2 inch. Fish within a 1/4 inch of the current record will be recognized as a tied record. And lastly, all applications must be submitted within 30 days of the catch date. Now, if you're looking to apply for a certified weight record, records will be awarded for either fish caught by angling with rod and reel or by archery/spearfishing for legal unprotected non-game species. Archery spearfishing records will be listed separately and identified by the angler on the application form. No records will be awarded for fish caught during salvage seasons or at private pay-to-fish facilities. Now, important update here, Idaho Fish and Game now provides certified scales for weighing potential records at the Panhandle, Clearwater, the headquarters office in Boise, and Pocatello regional offices. For a full list of guidelines and rules when applying for each catch and release or certified weight record, check out Idaho Fish and Game's Record Fish webpage to learn more. Link in the description as well. Speaking of fishing, next up, if you like diving into murky lakes with a spear, I got some good news for you starting July 1st. In the past, spearfishing was only legal for harvesting unprotected non-game fish. Well, starting July 1st, spearfishing will be authorized by the Idaho Fish and Game Commission as a legal method for harvesting specific game fish that are inconsistent with current fisheries management plans for those waters. Spearfishing is defined as, quote, taking of a fish by a person while underwater with the aid of a manually or mechanically propelled single or multiple-pronged spear. Now, that's kind of cool. The proposal was brought to the commission by the public. Commissioners then directed the department to go through the rulemaking process so they could expand spearfishing opportunities in alignment with management plans. In other words, spearfishing will be allowed on game fish where those fish aren't wanted in that particular water because they are incompatible with other species that are preferred by most anglers. On July 1st, spearfishing opens in several locations for different species. Way too many to go through on this podcast. That said, if you hit the link below to read Roger Phillips' story, you can see all approved spearfishing sites available in the state. All right, now Leslie Reinhardt, one of our fisheries technicians in the Nampa region, has a wonderful article about how our fisheries biologists study salmon in Idaho's mountain rivers and streams. Every summer, Idaho Fish and Game biologists and field technicians take to the wild lands in search of fish. Most of them are target game species like salmon and trout, and many are threatened or endangered. But all are slimy and scaled, and beloved by both fishermen and the people who fish for them throughout the state. Salmon streams may be found high or low, forested or agricultural, thin and fast, or slow, deep, and wide. However, these are just a few. Rapid River, which is fed by snowmelt from the Seven Devils Mountains high above both the Salmon and Snake Rivers, is a little stream that plummets down rocky slopes, through pine forests, digs down the grassy canyon walls, slips by the Rapid River Fish Hatchery, and finally flows into the Little Salmon River. If river water had a terroir like a good glass of wine, the Potlatch River would taste of pine, cedar, and the rolling hills of the Palouse. The stream meanders through some of the most gently beautiful landscapes in Idaho. Lowell Creek finishes as a lovely, somewhat placid stream when it joins the Clearwater River, but high up in the Clearwater Mountains, it starts its run as a swift-moving creek in a deep ravine whose tiny little trickles all converge to form a surprising trout stream. Fish Creek may not be high in elevation, but tucked away in a fold of the Clearwater Mountains, this flashy little tributary of the Lochsaw River is absolutely inundated with snow during spring steelhead runs. Here, the field season crew must chip through ice and snow to install the picket weir and screw trap each spring, which they've been doing now for over 20 years. The North Fork of the Salmon River is a lovely little stream that greets you as you climb over Lowell Pass from Montana. Thick with shrubs, willow, and cottonwood, it meanders through pasture land before merging with the main stem of the Salmon River at an unassuming rocky beach. Hidden up a narrow canyon lies Hayden Creek, which joins several tributaries from the sagebrush steppes of the Lemhi Mountain Range with the Lemhi River down below. It would be easy to miss the Passamaquoddy River because it's not on the way to really anywhere. Nestled between the Lemhi and the Lost River mountain ranges, this wide, gentle stream grows the biggest steelhead smolts in Idaho. The Yankee Fork of the Salmon River, my very favorite river in all of Idaho, was drastically altered by dredge mining in the 1940s through the 1950s. The piles of rock and abandoned dredge piles are still present to this day, but after it all, resilient salmon still remain. Way up towards its headwaters, the River of No Return is gentler than its nickname suggests. Fed by streams from several mountain lakes, here the Upper Salmon River presents a picture-perfect trout stream, making Stanley, Idaho a recreational destination for those who love the mountains. In addition to a weir and screw trap, Fish and Game also has the Sawtooth Fish Hatchery here, and nearby Redfish Lake is home to Idaho's native sockeye salmon. Now, just as its name suggests, Marsh Creek is, marshy. At an elevation of about 7,000 feet, this area sees snow from September to May. This moisture protected the stream when much of the surrounding forested mountains burned in 2024. Way back in the backcountry, much of the mountains around Bear Valley Creek also burned in 2024, but the screw trap is back in place, and as the snows finally melt in May, green can be seen amongst the charred deadfall, and young trees are reclaiming burned areas from previous fires. Guided by the mission that Idaho's wildlife must be preserved, protected, perpetuated, and managed, Idaho's fish managers travel deep into our mountains, using a combination of screw traps and weirs, snorkeling, and spawning ground surveys to learn everything they can about our fish populations. And in order to do that, they must go where the fish are. And to see just where Leslie and the rest of our fisheries folks are going, hit the link below to read Leslie Reinhardt's blog and see some incredible photos taken at many of these mountain fisheries. That's it for the major stories this week. Let's hit the rapid fire bulletin. Fish and Game is seeking comments on the 2025 through 2026 sage-grouse harvest seasons and tag proposals. Staff are proposing an increase in sage-grouse tags offered for the 2025 hunting season. Statewide, total tags numbers slightly increased from 2024. Proposed dates include sage-grouse general season, all zones, September 20th through October 31st of 2025, and sage-grouse falconry season, all zones, August 15th, 2025 through March 15th of 2026. Hunters and other interested parties can comment on the public comment webpage until Sunday, July 6th at midnight. Idaho Fish and Game's Lemhi Hole access site status will change to day use only beginning July 1st. Overnight camping will no longer be allowed. This decision was made with public safety in mind, as the area will soon be developed into an outdoor archery range where archers can shoot varying distances at stationary targets. Volunteers and Fish and Game staff have completed the groundwork, constructed new boundary fencing, and placed the backstop. The range is anticipated to be available by mid-July once the new targets arrive and are installed. And down in the Magic Valley region, Fish and Game staff are proud to live and work in many communities throughout the Magic Valley region. To show our support, we invite our neighbors to come join us by donating blood at our third annual blood drive on Thursday, August 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Magic Valley Regional Office in Jerome. Appointments are required, but signing up is super easy. Just go to www.redcrossblood.org and sign up using Fish and Game to register, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS or 1-800-733-2767. For more information, contact the Magic Valley Regional Office at 208-324-4359. Okay, that's it for this week's stories. It's time for our question of the week. This week's question comes to us from podcast listener Dave D. Dave asks if spearfishing for walleye in Nampa's Lake Lowell is legal. Hey Dave, thanks for writing in. Super easy one. Yep. Beginning July 1st of this year, you will be legally allowed to spearfish for walleye in not just Lake Lowell, but all fisheries across the Southwest region, assuming they have walleye. My partner down in Nampa's regional office, Brian Pearson, wanted me to pass along that you might want to bring some goggles. Hope this helps, Dave. That's all the news we have for this week. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to fishing game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, folks. Catch you next week.